Top of the lunch hour, Raider Nation. Today is August 31st in the year of 2023. We're one day away from the month of September, dude. We are here. The season has started, and I have a question for you. Is our offensive line, are they going to be better this year than they were last year? Last year, they made it to the top 10 in PFF rankings, and this year, PFF is starting to downgrade them at 19. And all it takes is one analyst to say it, and then everybody runs with that information thinking, oh, this Raiders offensive line is going to be worse. You know, I'm very optimistic on this offensive line. Dylan Parham, 2022 draft pick in the third round. Man, I'm expecting big things from Dylan Parham. I'm expecting big things from Thayer Munford, including the game plan from Josh McDaniels. We're going to get into the culture behind it, why this might not be your starting offensive line for the next 2 months. So let's get right into our blog. And once again, if you are new to this channel, please like, share, and subscribe, because the juice in this blog is worth the squeeze, man. I'm Raider Dave. Welcome to the channel. Let's get right into this. Alrighty, guys, it's a hot day. No iced coffee today, man. Keep yourself hydrated, get the water, and don't worry, right here I'm going to lead you to water, man. Water's a beautiful thing in life. Let me tell you, it's refreshing. So, the Raiders 2023 offensive line, player profiles, and in-depth coverage. I'm going to get into, a little bit of last year, the reason why things kind of like started out rough, how they got better. But once again, I don't find this content anywhere. Tell me, hey, is anybody writing content like this? I want to know, man, and I want to see what's good. I want to see what's good out there. So let's get into this. In 2022, head coach Josh McDaniels used 11 different player combinations through Week 8 before settling in on the starting unit, a hallmark of his mentor Bill Belichick in New England. Team building and continuity will be important to protect the new quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, and the Raiders need him healthy for a full season to realistically have a chance to win in this league. Man, we really need that. Big talk of the year. Jimmy G's going to be hurt by like Week 6 or whatever. Hey, getting right into the offensive line, and we're going to dial in, man, the communication and all that, man. So it's very important. You guys already know that, but it's very important we focus on the offensive line first before we focus on Jimmy G getting hurt. And knocking on wood, man, stay healthy this year, Jimmy G, man. Let's get some W's. The offensive line last season had issues with penalties, particularly false starts and holding calls early part of the season. The unit needs to focus on taking this to the next level and eliminating mental mistakes. This time around, they need to start fast and finish teams in the fourth quarter, man. Going back to Week 2, you guys already know, Arizona, that was a disgusting taste, man. I mean, literally. Of course, I'm with family that day. Of course I'm with family, and everybody's like, oh, the Raiders are doing so good. Oh yeah, don't you love that? Oh, the Raiders are up 20-0. Wow, they're going to win that game. And my whole life, my whole life. And I love everybody that's around me when I watch football. But I know this team so well. They'll blow whether it was last year or years before, whatever, whether it's the Tuck rule, I just know these things are coming. They're just coming, a bad call, or they're going to blow it, one of the two. So, anyway, but last year, Week 2, Arizona, we got fans in the end zone popping champagne bottles. That's why I wrote, this time around, they need to start fast, and they need to finish teams in the fourth quarter, man. So let's get into our key area of focus. I'm going to have to update this. I forgot to put a couple things in here about Dylan Parham, but our key area of focus, and I only wrote 2 sentences on it. Yeah, shame on me. One key pressing area of focus is Dylan Parham develops as a left guard, or will the coaching staff move him back to his natural position at right guard? I'm going to stop right there. Okay, man, if you guys know much about Dylan Parham and his collegiate career at Memphis, this guy only gave up 2 quarterback pressures playing right guard. He is a naturally elite, at the college level, of course, right guard. He went in the third round of the Raiders. A lot of teams were watching him, and he's versatile. He can play center, he's a good football player. But I'm just curious. They're moving guys around, and the reason why is what I'm talking about. This has been mentored through Bill Belichick. This is their system in the last 10 years. I believe they started doing this in New England in like 2013. And teams have started to copy it, but this is definitely something Josh McDaniels has adopted, and he did it last year, so he is doing this. I do like this because you make adjustments with each play. Let's say Jermaine Illuminor, he's your right tackle, starting right tackle. Jermaine Illuminor is going to be the starting right tackle. Technically, he isn't. He isn't until like November, because the way they do things, they're going to go with a bunch of different player combinations, even when they take a knee. All these things, because this is what they watch everything on film, man. And, they have the jumbo package where they take out the tight end, they bring in another tackle, they bring in the heavy set, and they're trying to get, first down or goal line score. And, here we are with Dylan Parham, man, on the right side. I really want to, even though they're doing this and they're moving him all around and he's versatile, I really want to see Dylan Parham settle down at right guard. I think that's a really smart decision by Josh McDaniels for winning games and stuff. I mean, because I really eventually think Thayer Munford's going to be on the right side, and if those 2 draft picks out of that draft class can solidify the right side of the offensive line, the Raiders are going to be having some great rushing numbers in years to come, man, because we've tried everything at right tackle before. We went with Trent Brown years back. We thought that was going to be a solution. The guy's massive, great downhill blocker, but did we overpay him? Yes. And did he perform? No. So here we are. I want to know what you think about Dylan Parham. Also, they also did move him to right guard just to clear some things up, and I got to add this in here. They moved him to right guard for like the last 2 games against the Niners and the Chiefs last year, and he did exceptional. He only gave up I think he gave up 1 pressure between the 2 starts at right guard. So, but for the most part, he was at left guard and he was struggling. I think he gave up like 20 plus pressures, maybe 25 pressures at left guard. So definitely making adjustment, as with coaching, players, rookies, you name it. So really wanted to get in depth on that. I hope you stuck around, kept them listening ears open. Let me know what you think, man. Feel free to drop something in the comments. Dylan Parham, man, right guard, left guard, or just keep him versatile. I want to see him on the right side. Let me know what you're thinking, man. So let's get into the potential impact and how we're just going to get in the potential impact of our offensive line. And what happens in the trenches is the majority makeup of a football team's success. We all know that. The Raiders' offensive line is still young, and Josh McDaniels' play design allows time for the unit to develop until players find that role where they can contribute to the team. Its strengths and weaknesses, man. They evaluate everything based on series. And I'm sorry, I'm jumping off the article here. I read this in the Boston Herald, I believe, and Bill Belichick was talking about how defensive series, what they show on film, they want to give you something different than what you see on film, so they're giving you a different set of offensive linemen out there and rotating guys in a certain way where they're trying to confuse defenses. Defenses are also trying to do this on their side. So I just wanted to clean that up, that this is a philosophy that is really, really relied upon when it comes to, disguise and whatnot with your front sets. So here, let me pick up. I should have marked it where I left off. So the Raiders did this last year, and it paid off for Josh Jacobs as the NFL rushing leader. I think that's a huge contributing factor, adjusting to Josh Jacobs, your running back. And that's another thing, they did mention that. So, you have multiple different committee of backs that teams use. So you have to make adjustments with that back because every running style is different. Some runners are elusive, some runners are downhill, depending on the pad level, how they hit the hole, if they're bounced to the outside, you name it. And we have, I'll get into that in a second. I'm starting to get ahead of myself, sorry. So they will be, that's where I get right here. So they will also be adjusting to Trey Tucker's role as a versatile ball carrier or receiver in playing multiple roles in the offense with his unique size and speed. Aside from McDaniels' play calling and the team's performance, this unit must remain poised and committed to be the best in the league. In order to achieve, I got to edit that, I put order. In order to achieve that, they must improve in pass pro after being ranked 26th per PFF. Colton Miller is the bright spot, earning an 81.0 pass blocking grade, ranking as the 8th best tackle in the league. On the opposite side, Jermaine Illuminor, who ranks 32nd overall, ended up earning a 75.0 overall grade in both pass and run blocking. Struggled to begin this, he did struggle to begin the season, giving up 26 pressures through 11 games, but improved the final 6 games with only 7 pressures. Illuminor was incredibly reliable last year for the Raiders, and he is the projected starter at right tackle. But is he better suited to play at guard? That's just something, I only think of that because of his prototype, his size and his body type. He is kind of a little smaller for a right tackle, but he did a great job last year. Competition should be expected throughout the season. And, of course, we're going to get into our player profile here, and that's Thayer Munford Jr. But first, I want to talk a little bit about Illuminor and his role. You can see clearly, the adjustment with the coaching staff. I mean, you can just see it all across the offensive line, how they adjust. I mean, not Colton Miller. Colton Miller has developed already. He went through his rookie year, with John Gruden, and they got through that, man. And Colton Miller has developed quite well as a left tackle, man. And so this, not pertaining to Colton Miller, so to say, but like guys like that might not have made the team last year, where Andre James might have been in question. Not anymore, but he was in question. And of course, even in this offseason a little bit, you heard rumors of Dylan Parham moving to center. But the main thing is they're just trying guys out because they want to see who's can fit in certain situations, if a guy goes down and can't play. So with all this laid out, you can clearly see with coaching, the players developed and got better with the system as the season went on, and Josh Jacobs had a record-breaking year. So give me your thoughts, man. Give me your thoughts. I'll also say this, Derek Carr, I know Derek Carr, I said the other day, he's a below-average quarterback, if you ask me. He's below average, doesn't win football games, and that's just that, man. This is the NFL. You need to win. This is a league that is a win-now league. Teams flip things overnight. Teams change overnight. Teams make Super Bowl runs overnight. That's what's happening. This 3 to 5 year rebuild stuff I've never bought into in the last 2 or 3 years. The league has completely changed. You can literally rebuild your team overnight. And I mean, like I said, I know Patrick Mahomes and them, they're like the Super Bowl champs and they're consistent and they're winning, but you can find that right formula and that right player. Things can change because there's always a new wave of players coming into this league, and everybody's got something to prove, man. Sorry, I got a little long-winded on that one, but just wanted to point out that that's the positive, man. They got better as time went on, So let's just get into our player profile, and you can read right into it with Thayer Munford, and we are really heavily invested into this right side of the offensive line and what we're discussing here, because we're banking on another big year from Josh Jacobs. I mean, he's in a contract year. He's going to run hard this year. He looks motivated. He looks ready. And the dude knows it is what it is, man, in the running back position when it comes to getting a multi-year deal. Maybe he could have took the multi-year deal that was offered to him early on. Who knows? Maybe that's I just think it's a better move for us that he's on a 1-year deal, because I think the Raiders are going to get a ton of production out of Josh Jacobs. And we're seeing these players develop, like Dylan Parham. Like I said, if he makes his way to the right side, or if he develops at the left side, and Luminor is like, just crushing it on the right side. But I want to get into today's player profile, Thayer Munford Jr., because I really am focused on what Dave Ziegler is doing, because he is building the future for our team. And these players are future players that already have key roles. I mean, like Dylan Parham has a key role already and made the PFF All-Pro 44-player team. So I'm really going to build on that as far as me as a fan looking in my outlook heading into the season. So let's get into Thayer Munford, just a little history about his high school. Some of you may not know this. That's why I wrote it. It's just good to get a player's background, and let's just talk about him, man. So Thayer Munford Jr. at 6'6", 320 pounds, is known for his size, strength, and as well as his quickness and agility for a player his size. Munford was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, attended LaSalle High School, where he was a standout football player. During his time there, Munford was a 3-year starter on the offensive line. He was named to the All-State team as a senior and helped lead his team to a state championship in 2016, and named the Greater Catholic League's Offensive Line of the Year. Just before his senior year, he moved to Massillon, Ohio, and transferred to Massillon Washington High School, who were coached by his former coach at LaSalle, Nate Moore. He was ranked as a 4-star recruit and was one of the top offensive tackles in the country. After graduating high school, Munford committed to Ohio State University, where he redshirted during his first year in 2017. In 2018, he made his debut for the Buckeyes and quickly established himself as a key member of the team's offensive line. He started 14 of the team's 14 games that season, helping them to a Big Ten championship and a Rose Bowl victory over the Washington Huskies. Going to scroll down here. In 2019, Munford continued to excel as a starting offensive lineman for the Buckeyes and helped lead the team to a collegiate football playoff and helped pave the way for J.K. Dobbins' record-breaking 2,000-yard-plus season. His strong performances on the field have earned him a reputation as one of the top offensive linemen in college football. Munford continued his impressive form in 2019, 2020, and starting all 26 games for the Buckeyes across those 2 seasons and earning all Big Ten honors in both years. In 2020, he also was named second-team All-American by the Associated Press. PFF ranked him as the #1 overall tackle with a 91.8 grade when factoring his total performance. NFL scouts were projecting him to be in a second round or a third round prospect in the 2021 draft. The Raiders, they selected Thayer Munford, number 238 overall in the 7th round of the 2022 draft. Munford played in all 17 games for the Raiders in 2022 on 369 snaps, giving up 4 penalties and 1 sack. Munford is a player to watch this season as he keeps getting better and better. And I want to say it was like Munford had a key block, man. I want to say it was that Texans game. We won that game. And Derek Carr going down. I think Derek Carr, who did he hit? Was it Mac Hollins? I think it was Mac Hollins. He hit Mac Hollins on a sweet TD, but man, Munford had him protected. Munford chipped off the edge, did a great job giving Derek Carr a pocket to where he could step up and make the football throw. So, once again, I just wanted to dive in this history. I think there's a lot of I think there's a lot of developing. Of course, you guys should know that, like with Parham, Munford, man. These are the guys that were talked about a lot in the offseason. These guys that I at least focused on. I wanted to see content about our offensive line. I think it's so crucial that we build that right side. We've been waiting for this for a long time, especially since they drafted Josh Jacobs in 2019. We've been wanting to just see Josh Jacobs just crush it, and we saw that last year. So tomorrow we'll jump into our defensive line, talk a little bit about the defensive line, and that'll pretty much do it for the positional groups, man. I'm not going to go through every positional group. You know what's going on at the wide receiver position. You know what's going on at running back. You know what's going on at the defensive back position. But I think the trenches, man, I'm just keying on some key notes in the trenches, and I have some fun stuff for the defensive line. Little things that are going to get the job done. And once again, the fire that is starting to build in that defense, man, because Max Crosby he is leading that defense, man, and he is going to lead it with an attitude this year, man. So, and that's what I like. Max Crosby looks intense, and that's what we need. We need intensity. Do type AFC West champs, Raiders in the comments. Get pumped up, because you know what? If you made it this far, that means you and I share the same dream, and that is that this team builds a dynasty. This team wins Super Bowls, multiple Super Bowls, and we have the same vision, man. So welcome to the channel. I'm Raider Dave, this Grimecast Media. Hope you stick around. I'm out. Peace.